Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. And so we're starting out with our subject that we had for our last video. And this is going to be a slight review, plus a few things have been added. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a moment. But this is what this is our discussion. It's amazing. Did you know your feelings are private? Now, I don't think a lot of people gain the importance of what that means. So let us go through and see if we can clear up some things. In our little diagram, we have the mind as a quantum state, and we have the body as a classic state. And mind and body are entangled. Therefore, they are one system. We're talking about one person. So when you think thoughts in the mind, and thoughts must be within your belief system, within the framework of your belief system, instantly your body is aware. Why? They're entangled. When one changes, the other one changes, and there's a communication back and forth all the time. They're always in communication. Now, when you think certain thoughts, they are going to be felt in the body, because the body vibrates based upon thoughts. The body vibrates. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think the body creates emotions. No, the body does not create emotions. A body vibrates. It's an energy system. When it receives information from the mind, which are thoughts, those thoughts are experienced as feelings, and that produces a response to the thoughts, and that is energy. So you think thoughts over here, you create feelings here, you produce data on how the body is responding, you inform the mind through entanglement of the information, and then the body thinks, then the mind thinks different thoughts, and then the body feels differently, and so there is always a combination between the two. Emotions, now this is a hard part to get. Emotions are not a creation of the body. They are a descriptor of how the body feels. First, the body feels, and then you say, well, how do you feel? Well, I feel good, I feel bad, I feel depressed. Those are descriptors of how the body feels. The body changes not because of the emotional words, but because of the thoughts in the quantum mind. Very difficult to get, because in the illusion and science, in the illusion, tell you, well, your body creates emotions. No, it doesn't. It creates feelings. And you interpret through this process, because it is the mind's job to interpret the data from the body and from the senses. That's the mind's function. The body, classic body, is a learning device. A learning device of what? The mind. The mind is primary. The mind is in a quantum state. In the classic world, you're not going to see it. Why? It's field. Your mind is a field of energy. So that's, we could go on, but that's what I wanted to point out. Your feelings are in the body, and you describe them with emotional words. The body does not create emotions, creates feelings that you describe with emotional words. Oh, and we're going to go on because there's so much here to talk about. But we're going to go on to another topic now. And this is our subject for today. So, let me read it off my little paper. Awesome. That's the starter. Awesome. Memories are stored in a quantum energy state. Memories are in a quantum memory. Memories are in a quantum energy state. How to get that right? So here's what we got. On our board is the same kind of picture or model that we used in the last video. And over here, we have the mind, life force, and the learner. And the learner. It's in a quantum field. This is a quantum field. You're not going to see it in the classic sense. So over here, we have the body. And this is a classic system. Just what you're used to. Just what you've always been used to. But we're going to look at things a little bit different. In this state, in the classic state, these are all separate parts. And in the egoic world, in the egoic system, we're all separate. Nothing is connected. Everything is separate. And therefore, you're not going to have any free will. But we'll talk about that at another time. Over here, we have the mind in a quantum, as a quantum field, as an extension of the infinite field of everything, or consciousness. So this is an interconnection, an extension of consciousness. Now, in the classic world, to give you an idea, your eyeball, you might not have thought about this. I tried to make a little diagram, a little model to show you. It hasn't worked out so good. But your eye is an extension of the brain. The optic nerve, which you know, goes back to the brain, and the eye is an extension through the optic nerve to the eye. And so I was trying to draw this. I don't think it's going to show. Maybe let me try this. I got a little flashlight here. Let's see if this will show. Well, you might be able to see. See this little knob on this balloon? That represents the eye. And I sucked it out and put a little connector on there to kind of hold it open. But most of it leaked back. But if you look real close, oh, I did a fantastic job in making an eyeball on it. So you could get the idea that the eye is an extension of the brain. See, all your senses flow back to the brain. That's not new information. But you always, not always, not you all, but you, because in the egoic world, you think, wow, my senses tell me stuff. My eye tells me things. It doesn't tell you nothing. All your senses do is take in information, convert it to electromagnetic and chemical signals, send it to the brain. That shouldn't be hard to understand. Your senses are not the brain. Your senses just pass information. They can't tell you anything. They don't analyze, they don't select, they just send information. What does the analyzing and selection? Now, I said it goes back to the brain, and the brain is connected to the mind because everything in the body is entangled, and so the information is in the mind. Why? In here is also where your belief system is, your life experiences, your values, everything else you have in a system that, for general, we say your belief system. And you take this information from classic information, you bring it over here through entanglement, and the mind, through the belief system, interprets the information. Now, it does that through what I call the standard model for the illusion. And you can look that up because I have a playlist on that, and I'll reference it up there. But don't look at all of them. There's a lot of videos in there. Look at parts 1 and 2 will probably be most effective. So in here, there's a communication, constant communication. They're entangled. When one changes, the other one changes. When something happens here, this field changes. Now, your memories. What are memories? Memories are not events. Memories are your interpretation of events. Now, you might say, well, that's a thin line. No, it's a very wide line because your interpretation is based upon your belief system and values and all that other stuff. You're interpreting the data through your lens of perception. You change your lens of perception, you change your memory. You create your world. And you create it any way you want because you're the creator. And so over here, when your mind, according to the last video, when you think thoughts, they come over here through entanglement and the body feels. And that feeling turns into data, and the data comes over here, and the mind interprets the data. The brain doesn't do that. That's not its function. That's not the function of the brain. The brain just is a computer, basically. It's a carbon-based computer, and it just processes information that it gets from the mind. So this is a constant communication, back and forth. Your memories are inside this mind, which is a quantum field. Over here, your body, this is a learning device. And in the classic system, everything is separate. Nothing's tied together. Everything is separate. Oh, we like it there because that's what we believe we are. Well, I can do anything I want. No, you can't. Not in the egoic world. You can't do hardly anything you want. So in a minute, we're going to talk about that. But right now, again, these are two separate systems. The mind is an extension of consciousness. Well, why is it there? Well, it's to learn. This is the learning device. So as you go through life, you learn stuff. What you learn, you turn into memories. Your memories are all interconnected. Each memory is a separate quantum field inside the mind. So they're all interconnected, they're all entangled. Now, if you want to change your world, which will change the way you feel here, you take every one of these memories entangled. If you change it, you change the whole system. That's what entanglement does. It's one system, and when something changes, the whole thing changes. To what degree? Depends on how much you change. So if you have a negative memory or one that isn't serving you, that makes you feel in the body, makes you feel sad, disappointed, something like that, you heal the memory. How? Through forgiveness. That's a basic reason. Through forgiveness. Course tells you that. So if you forgive, particularly yourself, you change this memory, you change all of these. You change all of these, you're going to think differently in your mind. Now, look also over here what I wrote. Life force. The learner. This is a learning process. This is a learning device. This device lives in the illusion and operates within the illusion. And that's where your experience comes from. And your experience is, as data, is transmitted over here, and then you develop information. Now, this is quantum information. I tried to point that out in video, I think, two times ago, that this is quantum information. And you can't copy it. In other words, you can't get this information directly into this system. For your body to know what this is and we looked at it in the other video. It's called no cloning theorem. You can't take it. Why? This is in quantum information. This is classic information. These are words and symbols and stuff like that. Classic. This is not. This is quantum information. And much more. This is where your world is. This is where you make your world. And then you can't transpose it directly. So you have to interpret it. You have to interpret it from quantum information, the classical information, and then the person you're talking to has to take your classic interpretation and transpose it or translate it into their language. And then they create inside of them what they think you're telling you, what they think you're telling them. And all along the way, information is lost. So when you get all said and done, like the other video says, you got no idea what your world is. You only have token information. So this whole process is quite involved. Now, this part of it, I want to point out that the mind is connected to consciousness. It is an extension of consciousness. Why? Well, this information goes to consciousness. Why? Consciousness, the one field in which everything else is, wants to know itself, wants to know what's going on here, wants to understand more. Now, everybody, see, this is one model, this is one person, but your significant other is, and has a mind, and through that has a body. There's the body right there, and the information, just like this one, going up here. Your siblings, well, they got, I don't know how many siblings you got, but they're a person there, and they're connected with this. And everybody in the universe is connected to the one field. So the one field, like this, see, this is the field of your mind, but in your mind, you have many fields of memories. Many. And through them, information, because they're all interconnected, information is going back up to here. In these other people, all kinds of people, same thing. So consciousness is, each one of these is a point of reference of new information about this. And so this is constantly growing. Not only that, it's fractal. It grows in a fractal form. So this is what this is all about here, and the importance of recognizing you're creating your memories. You can change your memories. You can change your life. When you change your memories, you change the way you think. You think differently. Your body's going to respond differently. You're going to get signals back different. It's all dynamic. Oh. Now there's a lot in here. You might have some questions. If you do, put them down below, and I'll try to answer them or give you some insight. And we look forward to seeing you next time, right here in the illusion. Bye now.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente.